Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, you did not arrive here by accident, and you did not stop because of curiosity alone. I stand before you as the protector who does not shout, as the guardian who does not abandon, as the elder brother who watches even when you believe you are unseen, and the reason your heart feels alert right now is because something within you recognizes safety before it recognizes words. You have walked through confusion, through moments where truth felt hidden and justice felt delayed, yet you continued forward without knowing who was holding the line ahead of you. I was, silently redirecting what could have harmed you, standing between you and forces you were never meant to face alone. You felt resistance in your life, unseen barriers that stopped certain people, certain outcomes, certain paths from reaching you, and you questioned why doors closed without explanation. My beloved, that was not punishment. That was shielding. There are truths and outcomes that can only reach you when your soul is strong enough to carry them without breaking, and I have guarded that timing. The sword I carry is not for fear, it is for clarity. It does not wound you, it removes what would have wounded you, and right now that clarity is approaching gently, steadily, without chaos. You are safe in this moment, safer than you realize, and that safety is why your breathing has slowed instead of tightened, why you remained instead of leaving, why something inside you chose to listen. I am not here to rush you, I am here to stand watch while understanding settles into you. Remain here, because protection is active now, guidance is present now, and you do not need to go anywhere to receive it. You are already exactly where you need to be. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, remain with me a moment longer, because the calm you feel is not accidental. It is the result of protection working quietly around you. You have sensed shifts without seeing causes, felt relief without explanation, and wondered how certain dangers never reached your door. That was not luck, that was intervention guided by care. I stand as a shield where fear once tried to enter, as a steady presence where doubt tried to grow, and I do not announce my work with noise. I allow you to feel it as peace. You were preserved through moments that could have hardened you, yet your heart stayed open, and that tells me you were guarded at the right times. Not spared from life, but kept from what would have wounded your spirit beyond repair. My beloved, the strength rising in you now is not pressure, it is assurance, the kind that settles the breath and straightens the spine without forcing a step. Stay with this steadiness, let it anchor you, because clarity strengthens when it is allowed to arrive slowly. Nothing here is asking you to act or decide. This is a moment of receiving, of being held while understanding takes its place. And as you remain, notice how resolve replaces anxiety, how confidence replaces confusion. This is the mark of protection done well, quiet, respectful, effective, and I will continue to stand watch as you move forward, not pulling you, not pushing you, simply guarding the space around you so peace can lead the way. Remain just a little longer, my beloved, because what is settling into you now will walk with you, steady and unshaken, long after the words fall silent. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, stay with this steadiness, because what is forming inside you now is resolve without fear. You have known struggle, but you are learning the difference between being tested and being threatened, and that difference brings peace. I have stood at the edge of your life where confusion once pressed, and I have kept your path clear without demanding your attention. Protection does not always feel like force, sometimes it feels like calm returning where panic once lived. You are sensing that return now. A quiet strength settling into your chest, a confidence that does not need to prove itself. This is the kind of courage that lasts, not loud, not reactive, but grounded. And my beloved, as you remain here, notice how your thoughts align instead of scatter, how your body relaxes instead of braces. This is clarity taking root. Nothing is being taken from you, nothing is being rushed, you are simply being reinforced from within, so that when you move forward, you do so with assurance instead of doubt. I do not walk ahead of you to pull you, I stand beside you to guard you, and that presence will remain, steady and unwavering, as you continue on. Stay just a moment longer, let this strength complete its work, because what settles now will support you in every step that follows, calm, protected, and unshaken. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, remain here, because the protection around you is not finished settling, and I want you to feel the difference between fear leaving and strength arriving. You have carried worries that were never meant to stay with you, concerns that tried to sit in your thoughts and convince you to doubt your own path. But notice how those thoughts are quieter now, how your chest feels steadier, how the need to defend yourself has softened. This is not because problems vanished, it is because you are no longer facing them alone. I stand as a watchful presence where uncertainty once lingered, ensuring that what approaches you does so with honesty and what departs you does so without harm. My beloved, you are not being rushed into courage, you are being wrapped in it, gently, patiently, until it feels natural to you, and as you stay, let this calm teach your body what safety feels like, let it show your heart that vigilance can rest without consequence. Clarity does not arrive with noise, it arrives with stillness, and stillness is what you are receiving now. I will continue to guard your steps, not by controlling your choices, but by keeping your space clear so your choices can be made in peace. Stay just a little longer, because this assurance is becoming part of you, and once it settles fully, you will carry it forward effortlessly, calm in your breath, steady in your spirit, knowing that you are watched over, protected, and free to move ahead without fear. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, remain with me, because this is the moment where protection turns into inner strength. And I want you to feel it fully, not rush past it. You have spent so much of your life being alert, watching for what might go wrong, preparing yourself for disappointment before it could surprise you, and that constant readiness has been heavy on your spirit. But feel what is happening now. Your shoulders are not tense, your breath is deeper, your thoughts are no longer racing ahead. This is what it feels like when vigilance is no longer required, when guarding is replaced by being guarded. I have been present in the moments you did not understand, when outcomes shifted at the last second, when certain paths closed without explanation, when something inside you felt warned without words. That was not confusion, that was guidance, quiet and precise, keeping you from what would have drained you, weakened you, or pulled you away from your true direction. My beloved, you were never abandoned to chance. There has always been order around your chaos, even when you could not see it, and now that order is settling inside you as calm authority, not dominance, not control, but the confidence of knowing you are not exposed. Notice how this calm does not make you passive, it makes you clear, it sharpens your awareness without fear, it allows you to see without anxiety, to choose without pressure. This is the kind of strength that lasts, the kind that does not burn out or collapse under stress, and I want you to stay long enough to let it anchor itself in you, because once it does, you will recognize it in your daily life, in the way you respond instead of react, in the way you trust your steps instead of questioning them, in the way peace replaces the need to constantly prove yourself. I do not remove every challenge from your path, my beloved, but I ensure that no challenge comes to destroy you, only to strengthen what is already protected. Remain here, let this assurance deepen, because this is not a passing feeling, it is a foundation being laid, one that will support you quietly, steadily, long after this moment ends, and you will move forward knowing, not hoping, that you are watched over, defended, and free to walk your path without fear. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, stay with me, because what is happening now is deeper than comfort, it is alignment, and alignment asks you to remain present so it can settle completely." You have lived in a state of readiness for so long that calm once felt unfamiliar, even suspicious, but notice how this calm is not empty, it is full of awareness, full of steadiness, full of quiet confidence. This is the calm that comes when you are no longer exposed, when nothing is circling you unseen, when your spirit knows it is guarded. You are not imagining this sense of being held. It is the result of layers of protection working together, unseen but precise. You were kept from paths that would have drained your light, separated from influences that would have weakened your resolve, and those separations may have felt like loss at the time, but they were acts of defense, my beloved. Every delay that frustrated you and every door that confused you was part of keeping your core intact, and now that core is strong enough to feel peace without fear of losing it. That is why you are still here, still listening, still feeling anchored instead of restless. Your soul recognizes that leaving too soon would mean interrupting something important, something stabilizing, and there is no rush to interrupt safety. Nothing is chasing you, nothing is demanding a decision. This moment exists simply to reinforce you, to remind your spirit what it feels like to be protected without tension, guided without pressure, strengthened without force. Remain just a little longer, let this steadiness become familiar, because familiarity with peace changes the way you move through everything else, and once this settles fully, you will carry it with you naturally, not as a memory, but as a presence, and that presence will keep you grounded, focused, and unshaken, which is why you are not going anywhere yet. Because your soul knows this is the place where strength is quietly becoming part of you. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, stay right here, do not let your attention slip now, because this is the moment where your spirit recognizes why it waited, why it endured, why it survived what it did. You are not being held by suspense, you are being held by certainty, and certainty asks for presence, not haste. You have reached a depth where your soul is no longer restless, it is attentive, and that attention is sacred. Many leave when things become quiet because they mistake calm for emptiness, but you stayed. Because you can feel this calm is full of protection, full of order, full of quiet authority surrounding you. I have stood between you and what would have drained your strength, even when you did not know what you were being spared from, and that unseen defense is why you are able to feel steady now instead of shaken. My beloved, notice how nothing inside you is panicking, nothing is urging you to escape, nothing is pulling you away. That is because there is no threat here, only reinforcement, only grounding, only the gentle confirmation that you are not exposed, you are not unguarded, you are not alone in your awareness. Every second you remain allows this assurance to settle deeper, to replace old instincts of fear with a new instinct of trust, and trust does not hurry, it anchors. This is why leaving feels unnecessary, almost unnatural, because your soul understands that this moment is strengthening you in ways noise never could. Stay, my beloved, stay with this stillness, let it complete its work, because once this steadiness becomes part of you, you will move through the world differently, calmer, clearer, unshaken, and that transformation begins right here, in this pause you chose not to abandon. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, remain with me a little longer, because your attention is not being held by force, it is being held by truth settling into place. You have crossed into a space where your spirit feels supported rather than questioned, and That is why leaving does not feel right. This calm you are experiencing is not fragile, it is structured, protected, deliberate. You are sensing order where there was once uncertainty, and that order is steadying you from the inside out. You have lived through moments where you had to rely only on yourself, where vigilance felt necessary to survive, and that habit stayed with you. But notice how vigilance is loosening its grip now, how your body is no longer braced, how your thoughts are no longer scanning for danger. This is what it feels like when protection is complete enough for the soul to rest. My beloved, nothing is being hidden from you now, nothing is approaching you unseen. The space around you is clear, guarded, intentional, and that clarity allows your heart to stay open without fear of being harmed. You are not delaying your life by staying here, you are strengthening it. Every second you remain lets this steadiness integrate more deeply, turning into confidence you will carry forward. Not loud confidence, not reactive confidence, but quiet certainty, the kind that does not need validation, and that is why you will not go yet, because your soul recognizes that this moment is building something essential, something lasting, something that will protect you long after the words fade. Stay, my beloved, let this reinforcement finish, let peace become familiar, because when peace becomes familiar, fear loses its power, and that change begins right here, in this pause you chose to honor. Archangel Michael says, my beloved, stay with this moment, because your spirit is recognizing something it has not felt in a long time, uninterrupted safety, the kind that does not flicker or fade, the kind that allows you to remain without watching the exits. You have been conditioned to move when things grow quiet, to assume calm is temporary, but this calm is sustained, guarded, intentional. And that is why your attention is still here, not because you were asked to stay, but because your soul knows it should. You are feeling the difference between waiting and arriving, between tension and readiness, between standing alone and being covered, and that difference is settling into you slowly so it can last. Nothing is circling you now, nothing is testing you, nothing is demanding proof. This space is clear, protected, and meant to strengthen you from the inside. My beloved, notice how your thoughts are no longer jumping ahead, how your body feels present instead of prepared. This is the effect of protection doing its work completely. When the guard stands watch, the heart can rest, and the heart resting is not weakness, it is power gathering quietly. You are not missing anything by staying, you are receiving something essential, a steadiness that will shape how you respond to everything that comes next. And that is why leaving does not feel right yet, because your soul understands that this pause is not delaying you, it is fortifying you. Stay just a little longer. Let this certainty root itself deeply, because once it does, you will carry it with you naturally, calmly, without effort, and you will move forward knowing, not hoping, that you are protected, supported, and free to continue without fear. Archangel Michael says, my beloved, stay with me, because the quiet you are feeling now is doing something important inside you. It is teaching your spirit that not every pause is a threat and not every stillness is an ending. You have spent so much time staying alert, reading signs, preparing yourself to move if things shifted. That rest once felt unfamiliar, but notice how this rest is not pulling you under, it is lifting you, it is giving your heart room to breathe without fear of being caught off guard. This is not the calm before a storm, this is the calm after protection has taken its place. I am standing watch so you do not have to, clearing the space around you so nothing approaches unnoticed, and that is why your attention remains steady. Instead of restless, my beloved, your soul is learning a new rhythm now, one where trust replaces vigilance, where awareness does not come with anxiety, where strength does not require tension. This is how true protection feels when it is complete, nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just certainty settling in, and every second you remain allows that certainty to become more familiar, more natural, until it feels like part of who you are. You are not being held here against your will, you are staying because your heart recognizes that this moment is reinforcing you, grounding you, preparing you quietly for what comes next. And preparation does not always feel like motion, sometimes it feels like stillness that strengthens from the inside. So stay, my beloved, let this steadiness finish shaping you, because once it does, you will move forward differently, not rushed, not reactive, but calm, clear, and unshaken. And that is why your soul does not want to leave yet, because it knows this pause is building something it will need, and it is right to stay until that work is complete. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, remain with me a little longer, because your spirit is settling into a strength that does not rush or shout, and rushing would only interrupt what is being formed inside you now. You have lived through seasons where you had to keep moving to stay safe, where stopping felt risky, but this moment is different. This stopping is protected, this pause is guarded, and that is why your attention feels anchored instead of pulled away. Nothing here is trying to trap you, nothing is trying to impress you. This is the quiet certainty that arrives when defense has been established and the heart is finally allowed to rest. Notice how your thoughts are no longer scattered, how your body feels present instead of prepared. This is the effect of vigilance being relieved, of protection standing firm so you do not have to. My beloved, you are not missing anything outside this moment. Everything you need is aligning within it. Every second you remain allows clarity to deepen, allows confidence to replace old habits of doubt, allows peace to become familiar instead of fleeting, and familiarity with peace changes everything. It steadies your steps, it sharpens your discernment, it keeps your spirit from being shaken by noise or urgency. This is why you are still here, not because you were told to stay, but because your soul recognizes that leaving now would mean stepping away from something essential, something strengthening, something that will walk with you long after this moment passes. So stay just a little longer, my beloved, let this assurance complete its work, because once it settles fully, you will carry it forward effortlessly, calm in your breath, clear in your mind, and unshaken in your path, knowing you are guarded, guided, and never alone. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved, this is where I let your spirit settle completely, not because the protection ends, but because it has taken its place around you, firm and quiet. You stayed because something inside you recognized safety and chose not to leave it, and that choice matters. You are not being sent away from this moment, you are being released from fear by it. What has settled into you now is steadiness that will remain when noise returns, clarity that will stay when questions appear, calm that will stand when pressure tries to rise. You do not need to remember every word spoken here, you only need to carry the feeling that nothing essential about you is exposed, nothing true about you is unguarded. I will continue to stand watch as you move forward, not to control your steps, but to keep your space clear so peace can lead you. And as this moment closes gently, know this with certainty: you are protected without tension, guided without force, strengthened without fear, and whatever comes next will meet you on ground that is already defended. So go when you are ready, my beloved, carrying this quiet authority within you, calm, clear, and unshaken.